Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this week's Spotlight session. Today we have our Director of Growth, Miss Gloria Cullinane, coming in to give us a great presentation on lead generation. So I will let her take it away. All on you.
All right. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I am going to ask it going forward. I'm not going to pressure you today, but I really, really need to look at faces and not just names. And of course, we know we're all family, so I don't care if we have rollers in our hair or a 5 o'clock shadow. It is hard to talk to just names. So if you can put yourself on camera, I would greatly appreciate that. So thank you. All right. So, for those of you that don't know me, I just want to give you a little history. I'm in the business almost 30 years this year, next year. I was a top agent. I'm a broker. I'm an instructor for the state of New Jersey. I'm licensed in New York. I've been in the Keller Williams world now since 2005. I started my career with Weichert and I was their regional sales manager and all. So I just wanted to share that information with you guys so that you can see that I can bring a lot of value to you. So, anytime you have questions, you need dialogue, you just want to run by me, hey, I'm working on this. I can give you some tips and help and ways of getting the business, especially being I've seen a lot of different markets because real estate is cyclical. So just wanted to throw that out there. So, oh, that's going to do the song again. Sorry. Okay. So before we get started, we all know that we have to abide by TCPA rules. That is the telemarketing. And again, there is no business to business exceptions. If you are looking to do a niche and you want to build your business to business relationships, you do have to get permission before you're calling or check that they're not on the do not call registry. So for today, let me see if I can get rid of this. Oh, okay, let me put it down there. Okay, so for today, guys, I want to talk to you about mastering the basics. Now, for the newer agents, this is going to be something good. For some of you seasoned agents, we got very comfortable, especially over the past few years. I mean, we didn't have to have conversations about price reductions. We pretty much were able to do whatever it was the seller wanted. But now we are in a shifting market, okay? And we have to shift our mindset and pivot with what's going on in the market of now, right? So we have to go back to the basics because I can guarantee you there are things that you go, you know what? I used to do that and I got away from it. I'm going to enter that again. Or some of these beautiful, young, innovative people that are joining our office that are brand new and bright eyed in the business may come up with something that you go, I never even thought of that. I'm going to implement that. So to me, I don't care. Again, 30 years in the business, I will still sit in on an open house class because I know I'm going to get at least one more thing out of it or a reminder of something. So this quote I thought was pretty cool. There are few tightly held misconceptions about lead generation that we need to put behind us. So I thought mastering our mindset first and moving into the basics is a good approach. And again, for a lot of you seasoned agents that are on this call, you're going to see why this is a good class for you as well, talking about the basics. All right, everybody okay with all that? And by all means, guys, please unmute yourselves, jump in, interact, okay? That'll make me better. So let's discuss today some of the myths and truths around lead generating. Now, many agents I hear come to me. Not all leads are good, Glo. I got this lead and it was horrible. It's your mindset, okay? There are no bad leads in real estate. They're just not equal, right? So I've had somebody say to me, "Oh, I got this lead from whatever their source they're getting their leads from. It's $100,000. They want a 3-bedroom, 2-car garage." So of course I joke. I said, "Well, tell them when you find it, call me because I want to buy it, right?" But when a buyer comes to you and says, or while you're lead generating, they say to you, "Well, I only want to spend 100,000." You, instead of saying what a terrible lead this is, your question to them is, "I can appreciate you're saying $100,000, but let me ask you, what are you comfortable with spending a month every month on a mortgage?" Now, at today's interest rates, they're not going to say $1,500 or $600, right? You can't even get a rental for that. So they might say to you, "Well, I'm comfortable with 2,300 a month or 2,800 a month." Well, you just took that $100,000 buyer and now you're opening their eyes to that 350 mark, as long as that's what they're approved for, right? Because when we're lead generating, they're not approved yet at that point. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you get a hot one, but on average, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, well, if I was gonna buy, I want $100,000. I want to spend 100,000." So again, to me, that goes back to our mindset. Lead generation is too hard. Okay. Lead generation is really simple and easy. So you want to be careful that you don't confuse your efforts with enjoyment. However, I have a schedule. It's called the DTD2. And I'm sure you guys have heard of it before. And I will share it with Lawrence to send out to all of you that attended today. So, does anybody know what the DTD2 is? Like I said, feel free to talk up, guys. Yes, no, maybe
No,
somebody?
I never heard of it.
You've never heard of it. Okay. So what the DTD2 is, no matter when you start. Now, obviously, I'm running it from January to December, but if you jump in June, it doesn't matter. What the DTD2 schedule is, when you're ready to sit down and lead generate, you want to have a plan, right? You want to have everything prepared beforehand. So with the DTD2 schedule on Mondays, you're going to call everybody in your database with the last name that starts with A and the last name that starts with W, and you're going to text the letter C. Okay. The next day, you're going to call all the B's and the E's, and you're going to text the R's. Okay. If you follow my DTD2 schedule, you will touch every single person in your database every month. Okay. And of course, for those of you that are using, the technology and stuff that we have, you could set them up on the smart plans that'll take care of the bulk of that stuff except the phone calls, right? So the text will automatically go out, the email will automatically go out. So you could kind of set it and forget it. And then you're going to get the reminder, "Hey, it's time to call Gloria today." Right. And you already put in your, in when you set the smart plan, what that conversation is going to look like. Okay. So I say, make it fun, right? First off, when you're about to lead generate, guys, it's very important, especially for those of us that are working from home a lot. You need to tell everybody in the household. And I used to tell my kids, if you're not bleeding or somebody's not hurt, I don't want to hear it. I don't stay away, right? Mom has to do this. I have to work. So I would, let everybody know for the next 2 hours, let me do what I have to do. Because if I can make the money, I want to take the family on a Disney cruise or whatever it is. You have to let the people around you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because trust me, they will help hold you accountable to doing it more regular. So now everybody knows the next 2 hours, leave me alone. I get my snacks, I get my coffee, I do my restroom run, right? Because when I'm going to sit down to lead generate, I'm in a mode. I'm not checking my emails. I'm not looking, texting my girlfriend. I'm not checking Facebook or Twitter or whatever, right? TikTok. I'm not doing any of that. I'm zoned in and I'm lead generating. And lead generating, guys, isn't always you want to buy, you want to sell, you know anybody, blah, 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 blah. No, lead generating is gathering more data and building the relationships, right? So for the new agent, you're calling your sphere of influence, right? And please don't make this mistake. Don't think, oh, my Uncle Joey knows that I'm a realtor, or my cousin Vinny knows I'm a realtor. And I'm going to share a story with you. My grandfather, rest his soul, very Italian gentleman, he lived in Florida. So I called him one day and he said, didn't sound right. So I said, what's the matter, Gramps? You sound a little sad. Oh, my buddy next door, he's moving to Arizona. Not gonna breathe, not gonna breathe. So I said, well, why don't you have him call me, Grandpa? I'll set him up with an agent. He says to me, Gloria Rose, what are you gonna do? You live in New Jersey. I'm in Florida. I said, I'll get the top agent in the area and I'll make money. You're going to make money? I said, yes, Grandpa. Well, let me tell you, after that, if he went to Denny's, he was sending me the server's information. This man sent me so much business. Now, he was my grandfather. He knew I was an agent, but he didn't know that I can still service no matter where around the world we are, especially with Keller Williams being an international company, right? The reason I tell that story, he lived there for 7 years before this opportunity came across for me. So it's important, guys, when you're talking to your family, oh, I don't want to bother them. You're not bothering them. So when's Johnny's birthday again? What is he, 9? Now you go on Facebook. You see a cousin you haven't talked to in a while or a friend. They just had their son's 10th birthday party. Now you're going to call them, and during the conversation, I'll say, so Lawrence, what is Johnny, like 9 now? Oh, well, no, he's 10. I just had his 10th birthday party, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? That's information to put in your database. And it's another touch because now you could set up a birthday thing to go out next year to that person saying, happy 11th birthday to Johnny, right? So lead generating, yes, you want to ask for the business, but lead generation, guys, is really about just building and solidifying the relationships that you have. And then at the end of my conversation, how you been, how's the family, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, oh, and by the way, don't forget, if you even hear of somebody just looking to change a light bulb, you're going to send them my way, right? I know you love me and you want to help me grow my business, right? So don't look at lead generation like it's hard because it's always, yes, we're in a business, you get a lot of no's, you get a lot of doors slammed in your face, you get some obnoxious people, unfortunately, in the world we live in. But the more you do it and the more consistent you are at doing it, the more opportunities are going to come your way, guys. So again, it goes back to your mindset. I am not to be disturbed. I have everything I need. And before I'm making those calls, I'm deciding, what am I calling today? I'm not calling 3 FISBOs, 2 expireds, 2 of my sphere. No, I want my dialogue smooth, right? So we all know the first couple of phone calls that we make, we're kind of like, But by the third or fourth call, we're smooth about it, right? We might have our feet up on the desk, whatever. We're comfortable. So make yourself a plan. Mondays, I'm going after FISBOs. Tuesdays, I'm going after expireds. Wednesday, I'm calling my sphere. Thursday's my follow-up. Friday, I'm reaching out to all my past open house customers because I'm doing an open house this weekend in the same price range. Okay? Have that set. And then the first couple of phone calls you make, call your best friend, call your significant other, right? Talk to yourself, call yourself if you have 2 lines. and get the stuttering out. Because like I said, by the third, fourth phone call, I'm like, hey, it's Gloria from Keller Williams. How you doing today? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not as rough about it because I practiced my dialogue a couple of times before I started spewing it out. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I need a little, oh, I went too far. All right. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. Time is not an issue, guys. The issue is making the time, right? So I'm a firm believer. If I write it in my appointment book, I'm keeping it because it's an appointment. So I challenge each of you to, and if the first quarter, the next quarter is too long for you, at least for the next 30 days, mark in your calendar. What time is your lead generation? Are you doing Mondays from 10 to 12? Are you doing Tuesdays from 1 to 3? Now, something I learned when I worked on Wall Street before I got into real estate, excuse me, my boss said to me, the best time to ask for a raise is on a Thursday. So I looked at him, I was like, why a Thursday? He said, Monday, everybody's cranky, right? Because the weekend's over. They're back to work. Tuesday and Wednesday is either good TV day or they're paying their bills and stuff, right? Thursdays, the weekend's coming, their mood is getting a little better because Friday's the next day, right? Fridays, they're usually busy, and on the weekends, you're busy, right? So I implemented that in my real estate, and I used to do Thursday nights from 6 to 8. And I can tell you, I had more people talk to me and stay on the phone with me than I did any of my other time slots. Okay. And I know some people say, well, I don't want to, interrupt dinner and this and that. But you have to remember, people are commuting, they're coming home from school, from work and stuff. So like that 3 to 6 time frame doesn't necessarily work. And I'll be honest, not everybody is an early morning person, right? I personally used to not be. And everybody that used to say, oh, well, the early bird gets the worm. My philosophy was, what's the second rat that gets the cheese, right? So now, obviously, the older I got, the more that changed. But I still personally don't like my phone ringing at 8 a.m., seeing if I want to buy or sell something, So choose your audience and your time frames accordingly, because that will make it a lot easier and simpler and not feel so hard. Does that make sense? All right.
Yep.
I don't have to lead generate. If I do a good job, people are going to come to me, right? You have to lead generate, guys. If you don't have leads, you don't have business. If you don't have business, you're not making commissions, right? And lead generation doesn't necessarily have to just be on the phones, right? Get involved in different things in the community. That's still lead generating, right? At your places of worship, right? That's still lead generating. When you're out at the restaurants, if you ask the server and check with your accountants on this, but my understanding is if the bill is under $500, the IRS doesn't really look too much. But if you said to the server, are you looking to buy or sell real estate? And they say no, you just had a business dinner and it's a tax write-off, right? So, but don't get too in the habit of doing that, maybe once or twice throughout the year, okay? Just a little tip for you. But again, check with your accountants on that. So, but no matter where you are, it's always an opportunity for lead generating. I'm really big with animals and stuff, right? So when I was in the field, I'm not in the field anymore because I want to help groom you guys. But when I was in the field, I had pictures of the most adorable dogs. And I would say, not only can I find you a home, we'll get one for Skippy too, or whatever the dog of the week's name was, right? That was things that I put out. And the people in that world came to me because I was top of mind as the person to go to. The kids' school PTAs, right? Be that parent that shows up for the holiday sale or the Mother's Day plant sale and things like that. The field days and stuff like that. It's really not too hard to lead generate. Okay. So you're going to get some people by doing a good job, but it's not going to be enough. And that pipeline eventually will dry out. You constantly have to keep filling that funnel, guys. Right? I can't lead generate because I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say. To me, that is the only reason why most people will not sit down and get on the phones or knock on doors or do what's needed. It's for the fear of, I don't want to look foolish. I don't know what to say. So I applaud all of you for showing up today because you're showing me you're hungry. You want to get everything you can and be the top of your on your game, right? And more so than ever in today's market, we are in a skills-based market. The days of just plopping a sign in the ground and having 40 offers and 50 people at your open houses, it's not there anymore, right? So we need to get out there and find the motivated. And the only way to do that is by lead generating. All right, I don't have enough leads. I don't have enough to lead generate. I have enough, wait, I don't need to lead generate. I have enough business. Now, this is something I hear a lot of my seasoned agents say, right? And like I said just previously, you do need to lead generate. There is no such thing as having too much business at all, right? I don't have anyone to help me do everything that has to be done. I hear that a lot. We do need to learn how to leverage ourselves. Thank you. We do need to learn how to leverage ourselves and have other people help. But, when you get enough of the kinds of leads that turn into closings, you're going to be able to afford all the help that you're going to need, right? You might be able to hire an admin person or get somebody to take care of your social media for you and stuff. But for right now, if you don't have business, you're it. And you guys, you have to remember one thing in this business. You pay either with your time or with money. So if you are lucky enough to have the money now and save you the time, that's great. But eventually you want that. You want to have enough money so that you have the time to spend with your family, right? Because for my philosophy is if it's not bringing me joy and memories with my family, or it's not making me money, I don't have time for it. Okay. Because that's my focus, my family and my finances. And that mindset is what made me open my appointment book and go, okay, today I'm lead generating from 2 to 4. And I did it at 2 to 4. The next day I did it. And let me tell you this too. When there came a weekend that I did not have a buyer or a listing appointment, I pounded those phones until I got an appointment. Sometimes that might have taken me 5 minutes. Within the first 10 calls, I booked an appointment. To me, that only gave me more to get another one. Okay. But there were days that I was on that phone for 8 hours trying to find that appointment. So depending on how hungry and how serious you are about your business and your finances is going to determine how much you're really going to do what the most important part of this job is, lead generating. You're not realtors, you're lead generators. All right. I can't lead generate because I'm not a natural lead generator. None of us are. But we got into an entrepreneurial business, because we know we have something else, something different, right? We're not just like sheep working that 9 to 5. Okay. So no one is naturally a lead generator. We all need to master our skills. We need to script practice. We need to mastermind, right? We need to bounce ideas and things off each other. And that's what you guys all want, right? Anybody there?
Yes.
All right. See, I'm very much I need interaction, guys. All right. So here's what your rules really should be around lead generating. And you have to remember, if you erase, you must replace, guys. You should time block 3 hours every workday. Now, this says before noon, but again, it's you. I shine more at night, right? I'm good in the mornings, but I have some people are better in the mornings, and come the nighttime, they're a little slowed down. So you have to find what works best for you when you feel the most on your game. And life's going to get in the way. Your best friend's going to call and say, hey, let's take the kids to the beach. It's going to be 90 degrees today. You're an entrepreneur, right? You're self-employed. You have the right to go, you know what? Yeah, I do want to do that. But then just remember, the next day when you're lead generating, add extra lead generating time on. Okay. Let everybody know your schedule so that they will respect it, right? You can even say, I'm in a meeting right now on your cell phone. I'm in the meeting right now. I will be back after 12 and returning all calls after 12 o'clock today. I know we all feel everything is urgent. I have to, I have to, have to, have to. Lots of times I've learned over the years that if you give people like an hour, they can figure it out on their own. And I will call back and they'll say, well, I was, I'm calling you because of this, but this is what I think I'm going to do. And then I can say, yes, great job. Or how about this approach? Okay. So I will always call you guys back. But if I'm in the middle of doing something like this, my focus is on you. It's not that, oh my God, my home inspection has 50 million things on it, right? You're going to get to that client that's having a heart attack over the 50 things on the home inspection report, but after you build your new business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. No interruptions unless it's an emergency. I told my kids, unless you're bleeding or dying, I don't want to hear nothing. They're all grown now, by the way. They're 30, 27, and 22. So, but treat the time like any other appointment, right? No distractions. Have everything you're going to want, because the biggest thing that I find with agents is the procrastination beforehand. Okay. You don't want to be just pulling up the expireds at 9 o'clock if you're calling from 9 to 11, because you're going to waste that whole hour. So have everything prepared, what you're going to say, what type of call it's going to be, all your phone numbers, if you're sitting down to make the calls. And the same when you go out networking. What is my objective today? I'm going to go knock on the for sale by owner doors today. I'm not going to call them, right? Or I'm going to, I love this, to build business to business referrals. We all have the person at the corner store that you've been going to for years now to get your coffee. We all have a hairdresser, a barber, right? But how many of us actually ask them for business or ask them, hey, I'm going to send all my new to the area clients to you with my business card. If they come with my card, will you give them a 10% or 25% off on their first haircut? Or on the bagels. You go to the Manhattan Bagel or a bagel store, right? They always have on the menus, buy 6, get 6 free, or buy a dozen, get 6 free. I would ask the owner, can I do that? Now, of course, I'm going to send a couple of my friends to make sure it's working and stuff. You know what I mean? But what is that doing? When that corner store, I know in my corner store, they have Planko up, and a lot of the older gentlemen like to go there and drink their coffee and hang out and play the thing on the computer and stuff. When one of them starts saying, oh, my wife's talking about wanting to move to Florida and blah, 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 my guy, Sanjay, at my corner store is going to say, well, hey, you need to call Gloria. Another way that I build business to business is I might go on Facebook Live, right? And I'll go in and I'll stand in front of Jersey Pride and I'll say, hey guys, this is Gloria from Keller Williams. Today I'm in front of the establishment Jersey Pride Deli, and I'm here with the owner, Sanjay. Sanjay, tell us a little bit about Jersey Pride. He talks for 2 minutes. I thank him. I say goodbye. I throw that out there. What is Sanjay feeling? Wow, Gloria's promoting my business. So in turn, he's going to promote yours. And that, my friends, is lead generating still, right? And the discipline is just a habit, right? And what does it say? A habit that gets created. And it's proven, guys, it takes 66 days to create a habit. Once you get to the 66th day, you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just automatically doing that. Has anyone else heard that before? I really wish more of you had your face on. Thank you for coming back at me, Natasha. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So again, it's just a matter of mindset and discipline, right? So one of the top teams in this company says you've got, and it's true, you've got to get into action. If you spend 2 to 3 hours a day on the MLS or tinkering around with your database, you're not actively lead generating. You're just kidding yourself, right? And as Gary says all the time, it's time to shut up, get up, and giddy up. Right? So put some good music on. When it's the DTD2, if it's B&E day, I'm gonna go out and get some bacon and eggs that morning. If it's A&W day, I might get A&W root beer. Make it so that it's not such a chore for you and there's no distractions. So do the right continuous lead generation activities now, and your business will ultimately show up, and it's going to continue to keep showing up. Okay.
Mhm.
Does anybody, I don't know where my thank you slide went. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
My question, I guess it's not a question, but the issue I have is with objections. So when I am talking to people and they have objections, I kind of just move on.
Okay. So here's a suggestion I have when it comes to here's the suggestion I have when it comes to objections, right? Especially Natasha, since you're, like I said, still kind of newer, being a year in the business.
Mhm.
I used to have a black and white composition book,
Mhm.
and every time I heard an objection, I wrote it in that book. And then I called the people I needed to call, and I'll be that person too. You would call me, I can help you overcome that objection, and you're going to write that answer in your book. I used to call that book my Bible, because now any type of objection that I get thrown at me, I have the answer, right? And I would put little tabs, like all my books, I'm one for this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So that I know exactly where I want to go for it. So if you have that book before you know it, it's just going to roll off your tongue because you're constantly looking it back over. And believe it or not, you are going to hear the bulk of the objections are the same across the board, no matter where you're calling, who you're calling, what state you're calling. Okay.
Okay.
So Natasha, if you have anything that was thrown at you that you're not sure how to overcome, I think this would be a great forum. If you guys wouldn't mind, we'll all give you some tips on how to overcome that. And if you don't have one off the top of your head, don't feel pressured or anything. We could always talk about it next time.
Okay. It's just like when you're speaking to leads or even your sphere, and they say, "Oh no, I don't have any real estate needs right now. I don't need anything."
Okay.
No.
Okay. So can I ask, is your approach, and you're talking about just cold calling, not calling your sphere, asking for business or anything, right?
Recently, it's been my sphere.
Okay. So I think if you're having more, if it's not just that, do you want to buy, do you want to sell, do you know somebody? If it's
Right.
more just how you've been, what's going on in your life, blah, 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 blah. Oh,
Mhm.
by the way, I'm sure you've heard of somebody that's thinking about buying, selling, refinancing or something.
Mhm.
And they might say, well, no, I don't right now. And I'm going to say, well, keep an ear out for me. Okay. I'd appreciate it. Now,
Okay.
if it's an absolute cold call and they say that, it might be the approach that you're having on the cold call as well, you
Mhm.
know? So instead of saying, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? My verbiage was, so which one of your friends or relatives is looking to move in the neighborhood? See how
Mm.
just tweaking that little bit solicited an answer.
Right.
Okay. You don't want to ask yes and no questions. You want to give them something that they have to respond back to you for.
Okay.
And does anybody else, Annie, Lawrence, Paul, or anybody else on the call, would you throw in what would you tell Natasha in that case?
I agree with you, Gloria. Don't ask yes or no questions because it ends the conversation with a yes or no. And it kind of gets it very hard for you to kind of redirect back to the topic because it almost seems like they ended it there.
Right.
With my conversation, with my sphere of influence, it's always more come from a point of care where I'm checking on up on them. I'm seeing how they are, and through these conversations, you'll hear a lot about their needs, like whether or not, there's health issues, kids issues, marriage issues. And through these problems, you can provide some sort of assistance if you can, recommendations, referrals, stuff like that. Um, and it comes off as you're meeting a need.
Yeah.
So when you meet their need later on, when they are looking to buy, sell, they'll know, or any really in any situation, they'll know to reach out to you. For all my clients in the past, I'm like their go-to person to ask about, oh, which contractor do you use? Which HVAC company do you use? Which, they come to me with all these. And because I tell them, when I worked with him, I said, I am a well of resource. Even if it's something I don't know, I have a team and I have a whole office of people that have connections, that have dealt with, any sort of home related or even non-home related issues. So if you ever in the future don't know who to call or what company to use, always call me up.
Okay.
Or even in the app too, and get several different, places. I love the fact, I love the culture in this office on our group chats and stuff, and how everybody's so quick. I need a home inspector. Boom. I need this. Boom. So you have the resources here to help you. And today I only talked about, networking and lead generating on the phones. There is so many different layers. We didn't even touch base on your social media, right? What you look like out there and how you need to be top of mind. Okay, now I do this exercise in another class, but I'm gonna just do it real quick for you guys, and then I promise to let you go. Because if I can say something in 45 minutes instead of keeping this for an hour, I'm gonna do that. Oh, it just went right out of my head. Well, I'm so sorry. What was I saying right before I said that? Anybody? Social media. Oh, top of mind, the thing. Okay. So I would ask all of you to unmute yourselves, and I'm going to ask you to name tissue companies. Unmute yourselves, guys. Name a tissue company.
Kleenex,
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 Charmin,
Charmin,
Scott's,
Scott.
Puffs,
No, okay. Puffs. All right. All right. Let's go with copier machines.
Xerox,
Xerox.
Canon,
Okay. What else do we have?
HP, maybe.
Right? HP. But look at what's happening, guys. If it's you yourself needing to come up with all those answers, you see after the second or third one, your brain really has to start thinking hard.
Mhm.
You want to be the Xerox of real estate. You want to be the Kleenex or the Scott of real estate. You want to be, when people hear real estate, you're top of mind. Oh, you got to call Annie. Oh, you got to call Natasha, right? That's that's the point you need to make yourself. And the only way to do that is with constantly nurturing your database and growing your database. All right.
Mhm.
So does anybody have anything else they wanted to add or throw in? And Lawrence, I'm going to forward you the DTD2 schedule. So, and please do not feel free to call me with questions, answers, dialogue, or like I said, just let me know what you're doing and I might be able to give you some, insight. All right.
Thank you.
Right. Well, then I guess enjoy this beautiful weekend weather. All
Gloria.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Gloria, for putting on another great spotlight session this week. I hope everyone got some real valuable information out of this.
Yes.
Cool. All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you all around the office soon.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.